welcome. And our organization, Think Tank LT, is also, I will tell a little bit more about our mission, our activities, and I don't think I will be too long. Actually, we are very happy to have you here. I have heard a lot of about your project. I'm very impressed and very perspective future, I think, and maybe we will participate in next steps if it will be possible. But for the beginning, I would like to tell just a few sentences about this organization which we call Think Tank LT. Today, well, Kennedy is no longer our member, but anyway, it's strategic advice, project management, practical consultation, trainings, and other things which are related to so-called information society, knowledge economy, e-government, democracy, e-democracy, and communication and information technologies. Why this strange mix? I call it killer application because it's everything together, and we are trying to move towards solutions in the information society. We are having on board several, about concept, maybe concept. It's simple, it looks simple. We are working with government, with business, with academia, with NGOs. You can change a little bit this picture, but it is quite simplistic picture. On board we have several members. Unfortunately today we don't have Mindaugas Glodas. He's general manager of Next to Ventures. He's a very experienced person. Long time ago, many years he has been Microsoft leading officer, general manager, and also he was Microsoft general manager on European level. On board I am also, and my activities have been related all the time with information society development and knowledge management, information and communication technologies. 12 years I have been Dean of Faculty of Communication and other activities. Rimantas Gatautis, so he is very best professor of Lithuania in general. E-government, e-business, he is from Kaunas Technological University. I hope maybe tomorrow we will have opportunity to see him. He's working on not only on European scale but also on world scale. Now, next person, he's representing Samsung Electronics, but currently he has changed job, and now, according to my information, he will work for Volkswagen Lithuania, and also person who is very able in public policy, advocacy, lobbying, public relations. It is like our board members, but most important people are in our team experts. You can see also maybe best selection of what we can have in our universities. We have quite several universities, but most strongest universities are Vilnius Gediminas Technical University. It's Professor Gudauskas, so he is working on big data analytics, and it is very much related to what we are trying to do in this library as major digital fortress of our country, in the future, of course. Also, Vilnius University Faculty of Communication. This faculty in the past was my faculty, and we are cooperating very much. Now, Professor Snitka, microsystems, nanotechnology. He has been long time advisor to Prime Minister of Malaysia, and also he is working with Silicon Valley. Professor Kriščiūnas, former rector of Kaunas University, and now he is leader of all association of rectors. So it's not only position, but it's very experienced person. Now about Polish professor Mieczysław Muraszkiewicz. Actually, 12 years ago, together we have started one more think tank. It's most think tank, Mobile Open Society for Telecommunications. And after that, this think tank involved 10 countries, 10 new EU member states. It was very good component because before entering European Union, we have collected all necessary components in order to make consolidated market, and we had opportunity to stimulate market, telecommunications market, using democracy values. We have also national security expert, former NATO advisor, pulkininkas, kas čia dabar bus? Not maybe. Kaip pulkininkas, huh? It's less than general, but quite important. Also, we have good people, good young people, young advisors in law, in project management, and in public relations. I think it's important to show our competences through concrete people. We are doing trainings, not so many, but trainings are exceptional. They are related to innovation management, entrepreneurship, leadership, art of war, change management. It's quite standardized topic, and it looks boring for normal entrepreneurs, but nevertheless it's important to have such mix. But our major strengths maybe is knowledge management and strategic knowledge management, because we are trying to implement this in not only in Lithuania but also in some other countries too. We are working very closely with Brazil, for example, with Portugal, with Italy, and in this area we are having several projects which are board level in general. Now about several, it will be a mix Lithuanian, a little bit in English, but last our event, it was related to public policy, and it was science, politics, and business in the context of Lithuanian military enterprises or development, because you know situation is quite complicated, especially in the context of new developments, and here we are collecting usually about 20-25 best experts, not only from Lithuania but also from other countries, and they are generating ideas, and after that we are giving advices to Lithuanian government, to Prime Minister office, and also to some ministries, Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Communications, Ministry of National Defense, if it is necessary, to other bodies. Also, there were several events which were related to smart taxation, maybe, yes? Tax system. Other things are related to state civic department. We have about 50,000 state employees, bureaucrats. I think it's very creative specialty to be bureaucrat, because you can do everything, or you can forbid everything. So it depends from what you do.
So you face the same problems like Greece, okay?
Well, we are trying
to
on small scale actually, but it's better to make models. And I'm a little bit easy saying what we are doing, but we are very proud to have this project and very proud to be partners. We not always are having opportunity to participate on equal basis in all events, but well. Still, I hope we will manage and we will be better. Now I'm coming to the end of what we were doing during past 2-3 years. It's major public policy events, information security management, also cyber attacks, and this was very good starting discussion. Are we willing and able to control IT? I think it relates somehow to our topic today, because it is about future of e-government, innovation and technology. And in general, during crisis time, numbers which I will tell you will be not impressive. Lithuania is a small country, but it was dedicated like 400 million euros for information society development during time of crisis, 2008, 2012. And according to evaluation of state control, it was only 50% possible to evaluate resources which were delegated as efficient resources. So we are trying to look at it on consolidated way. We are trying to suggest models for complexity management in general, because in my understanding, if we are talking about knowledge economy, we have just like 4 pillars. It's juridical environment, institutional environment, information and communication technologies, and innovations. And if we can manage this mix, we can be more successful. We are also working with Biblioteka Baltic. It's a huge organization among Baltic Sea, 10 countries, about 50 institutions, because we look at libraries like at information factories in the future, because it's major centers of big data, of excellence, of information security, and other things. Well, coming to the end, we have some other centers which are related to our activities. NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence. We are just this year started this cooperation. Other things you can see here: Herity Lithuania, Herity Italy, Herity Portugal. It is total quality management of heritage objects in general. Maybe that's all about our intentions. We are not profit organization. It's not for-profit organization. We are collecting experts from different organizations. Now about this, almost every, except military related events, every event is recorded, and anytime you can repeat, you can see what is going on. Now about contacts. Here we have Eglė, Dr. Eglė, of course, and Dr. Saulė today is a little bit in the hospital, so-called. Yeah. But it will be manageable. She gives you best greetings, and that's all. Maybe that's all about our organization, because you need to understand where you are, with whom you are having or trying to have business. And we are also quite happy being here in National Library, because many joint projects which are oriented to the future, to digital library, digital economy, digital government. Right now, we are probably this week we are signing agreement with Lithuanian government, and we will work on permanent basis. We will give independent advices to state decision makers. It's a huge mission. I don't know will be successful enough, but at that time we have quite normal reputation. Maybe you have any questions, because my introductory words were just information about who we are, what we are trying to do, where we have some successes, where we have some problems, and our expectations. I'm from beginning manager in general, and I'm certified in knowledge management and crisis management fields, and my obsession is exceptional leadership, actually, something like that. How to do it, I don't know. But sometimes we are successful, and sometimes we have good results with quite ordinary people. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
No,
Natas.
no, please.
It's my floor. Okay. Before we start, what I would like to ask, first of all, I have to stand up because I prefer, although I'm really exhausted. I went for running this morning and I got lost. Instead of running 20 minutes, I was running for an hour and a half. But anyway, I will manage. Hopefully, we have some breaks. Now, Dr. Natas, thank you for this presentation. That was very impressive. I was quite impressed with all your activities and also with the people, because the important thing is to have knowledgeable, motivated and people with enthusiasm to support your initiatives, and I think that you're doing that well. One suggestion or a kind request is that, I don't know whether you know, in Entrepreneur 2.0 project, we have an advisory board. And what is an advisory board? An advisory board is an external body to the project. I can try and go to the website. It's an external body to the project that provides some advice on the project activities coming out from experts. So we have already in our board quite many. Let me see. And, there is not more difficult word than this one, entrepreneur. How is two? Two is, how can I click? Control Alt. Okay, thank you. Yeah, yes, it works.
Firefox?
Yes. So this is the website of our project. And in our project, we have, as you can see, an advisory board, and we have a lot of experts that some of them are already present here. There is Tamara here that is present, Nikolajev also that he is present. So what are these people are doing? These people are actually following up the activities of the project and provide advice, some recommendation on its development. And we have decided as a common practice to involve one or two or even more. For example, from Ireland, we have by far more experts coming from their field to join our advisory board and follow up the activities until the end. It's a very simple way of achieving that. I mean, you can go just to the project, let me see, to just click there, join our advisory board. It's just a web form that you can complete. So you are more, it's like a mentoring scheme. I mean, the little cat follows the big one, something like that. So we will be more than happy to see either you or some other people from your expert board or from your management board to join this, and possibly you could coordinate that with Uge or Engle, how to do it. And we're looking forward to that. So this is something that we would like to have. And the second thing, before we have a small route-table, I mean a small introduction by everyone here, there are people here that we meet for the first time. So in that respect, we need to make sure that we know each other. I would like one volunteer to take some minutes, because we are missing now two partners. We are missing partners from Turkey and from Czech Republic. For their own personal reasons, that is fine. However, we need to have someone keeping some minutes of the meeting in order to inform them afterwards what we have decided and what are the next steps needed until the completion of the project. So who would like to from the table, who would like to act as a volunteer to keep minutes? Terry? Yes? Okay, thank you.
She was forced to volunteer.
I don't know, but I really appreciate it. I don't know what. Maybe yes, maybe no, but I really appreciated that. So that's fine, because it will be very helpful, and then you can provide them to me by email, and we can discuss them together in order to send them to them.
It was about making videos and training people through videos. And she had this idea, she presented it on some contest, national contest, it was awarded, and that was all she had. And she just resigned her work at her job at university. And of course, all she had at the moment was this idea and a lot of fears. So there was no system behind, no market research behind, she didn't know anything about potential customers, and she was afraid of how much all these things will cost, and of course, how can she, as a self-employed, have a more wider reach, so not just on local level. So a lot of fears, and this project was really important on a very personal level as well for startup of this business. So what happened? No, this was in June, I guess. In June 2014. What happened was that in September, Academy for Innovative Marketing was born. So this was the name which came out during the meeting.
A little bit more than 1 year.
Huh?
A little bit more than
it's also the wrong number. It's 2014.
Ah, okay.
So 3 months later, this agency was actually born, and she was a bit punished because she didn't think through how the system should work or look, how to attract the right clients and so on. But the whole business basically is depending on Web 2.0 tools. So it's more or less around. So this is WordPress page. So as you know, it's very cheap. I made it myself. Okay, so and I'm no programmer at all. It took me, don't ask how much time, but so how these things actually works. So this is the main idea: video production, blogs, ebooks and trainings, live and video events. Focuses on content marketing, what this really means, so people don't really buy anymore because you say buy my stuff. They want to be trained, they want to have more information, they want to see you as an authority, they want to respect you, know you, trust you, and only then they buy. And of course this goes well with Maya's philosophy on how this life should really operate. She loves to give trainings, and so it just really her vision come true. And now I'm not saying this to brag, portfolio is very fast, but just to say that she had to make, if she wanted to be more than a local, she had to, of course, be online, but being online is of course not enough. For example, I have a neighbor who just started his own company dealing with healthy food, and he doesn't want to put his web pages online because he's afraid that already tomorrow he will have so many orders that he will not be able to deliver. But we know that it's not working that way. It's just one page more on the internet, okay? But what we learn, it is important, of course, that for example, if you have portfolio, see what you are doing, they start to learn if you are trustworthy, skillful and so on, and if you are worth of their money and time, of course. So does AIM, so AIM is Academy for Innovative Marketing, really use virtual web tools? Of course it does. Now if opportunity doesn't not build a door, the main message behind is actually marketing door to door is not working. She tried, Maya tried. At the beginning she was selling her services this way, mouth to mouth, but the reach, as you know, is very limited, and also the mentality, it's a challenge. So not just one, but so many of these tools are used in everyday business life of this aim. So analytics, Mailchimp, Dropbox, Google Drive, Dropbox is twice actually, because we use Box and Dropbox separately, SumoMe and so on. I will show you actually. Just a sec. Let's not see. I cut it. Now here is. If you click here, it opens. It's a little Chrome, and then I will show you what kind of analytics actually it allows you. It's a free tool. So what is the connection? Because I will give you the short presentation how this works. Connection of AIM with entrepreneur. It's very, so like I said, it's very personal because she was inspired there. She had a chance to talk with all of you, meet and see that, okay, so even if I'm self-employed, I can work globally. And of course it was very motivational. She liked the platform. Actually, I like it as well because I know where to find all these tools in one place. I think I know a lot about these tools, but I had no idea there are so many and that I don't know so much things. And we really find the descriptions useful, and we actually promote it during our work because a lot of clients ask how can we do this, how can we do that. They have no idea of Mailchimp, automated personalized emails and so on. And really important feeling that it's manageable because it's all on one place. So it's, you visit one place and you have all information just there. So this is the added value of Entrepreneur 2.0. Now, just to show you how we put in place all these tools. So for example, you write a blog, it's for free of course. You put it on either LinkedIn or web pages, so it's or on your own web pages, and of course then we follow the traffic through Google Analytics and SumoMe. SumoMe actually allows you to see the heat map, so you see where people are clicking. There's also another analytics. If you scroll down the page, it measures how far people came. So you see all the clicks, but lower you go, you see the dropping zone of how many people are actually reading. And why is that important? Because based on this analytics, we put this window scroll box or pop-up box. We put it, for example, at the beginning it was too long, so people didn't read all the way down and we didn't catch any email. So we had to put it higher, for example. So we use SumoMe and to put pop-up a box out, and after people sign in, they usually get free or even free videos and ebook and 4 additional videos. They're all in Mailchimp, which is so completely automated, and we follow them through this Zoho. We use it to have follow-up, because when they are done, when they are done with the funnel, they are ready for Skype talk, and usually this is the time we close the deal, when Maya closes the deal. So she spent a lot of time in the designing the right, we say, head-turning message. So here it says, we are helping ambitious entrepreneurs that through the content marketing they can be easily and fast recognized as an authority on their expert field. So what she wanted to attract entrepreneurs with ambition, not just any entrepreneur, but ambitious entrepreneurs. Because why it's important? Because they take decisions faster. And she wanted to attract entrepreneurs who believe that content, that they can actually be recognized as an authority through the content they can present. So after they see this message, and it's really working, I must tell, it's really working. After they see the message, They usually log in, they go through this pipeline, 8 emails automated. In the last email there is call to action, call us on Skype. So all is for free, of course. And when they're on Skype, she usually closes the deal. So she was struggling a lot, really, in the first 3 months. You know that there was no clients really, but just in last 10 days she sold I think 18 videos. So it's so we have now 2 cameramans actually now, 2 cameramans so they are working with us in the field. And if this will go this way,
Yes.
I will not work with European projects anymore, and I will focus on this only.
Sounds perfect.
It sounds beautiful, really. But all system is based on free tools. All system.
Which tools?
Free tools.
For example, the automation?
Only automation you have to pay €8 for in MailChimp.
In MailChimp.
Yes, €8 for automation functionality actually.
Automation functionality is after 2 days, or if someone clicks?
Yes, you can set the trigger when it starts to.
Yes.
And then there are several ways. If they don't click, they get one reminder. If they click, they get a different reminder.
Or a different email, yes.
Yeah, because you have to plan different strategies and press different emotional buttons.
And the email chimp is used for collecting the email addresses, or is SumoMe that is used for collecting the email address of the visitors?
So SumoMe actually allows you these social media buttons, and it is used for these boxes which jump out, but it is connected with MailChimp.
Ah, okay.
Okay, you can just insert the code of the MailChimp in there, and it's working perfectly.
Very good.
So all you need actually is time to study these things. But when you put them in place, it's perfect.
And the courage to go the first step, to leave your job
Yes.
and start something on your own, even if it is something that much attractive as this one, huh?
Yeah. It takes courage, yes, and a lot of nerves.
Yes.
A lot of nerves.
So the free tools that you use is SumoMe, MailChimp, okay, but you pay okay for the automation.
But we say low cost or
Low cost that you use, and the other tools that you're using?
so Dropbox.
Dropbox for what?
Because in Dropbox there is ebook. It's saved there. So you get first email with link. Here is your ebook. You click and you go directly to Dropbox because you can just download it from Dropbox. YouTube, because more or less all the videos are saved on YouTube. Okay, then of course Facebook, blah blah. What else? WordPress, which basically it's this theme is €40, so but you can get it for free actually. So it's low cost or no cost. What else? Oh, you see this? This is Focus Booster, pardon. It's also free tool. I use it all the time. So you just set a task and timer, and you hear it tick 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 tick.
For whom? For for you?
No, nobody sees it except me. So when I have a task to do, instead of working it all day long, I set a deadline. I say I have 45 minutes to finish it. So it's cinnamon somewhere. Here you see, I was on.
Yes. Now
I had 22 minutes to finish the presentation, for example. It's also for free, but it works really well because it reminds you all the time, so you don't get lost maybe when you're starting to go onto Facebook and the day is gone. So it's very cool tool.
I wish we had recorded that for you because you had already your first video testimonial. But it's a pity that we didn't record it. Our cameraman is missing.
Yeah.
Because that would have been nice to have your first video recorded. Yeah? It is, huh?
Ah, it's online.
So you can say to you, you can work on it, huh?
No, but we will make videos for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to.
Good, very interesting. I think it was very useful, eh?
Oh, thank you.
Very good. Any other business before we close?
Good morning. If you
Morning.
permit me to start, today we have promised one interesting personality, yes? It's Martynas Nikolajev. Actually, we met 15 years ago, maybe, yes? It was university.
No,
No? More?
it's like
I'm sure that
almost
doesn't
20.
mean the
Almost
same age
20.
like you, but
Almost
anyway.
20. It's close to 20.
Okay. Quite old.
We are all too old, yeah.
Yes, yes. So we met at the university. I was trying to be a teacher, but I was trying not to damage his brain. And what he has done after, he can try to explain today. Please, Martynas.
I'm building businesses, new businesses. I built something like 10 companies, and 7 of them, I think, were really successful, and a couple of them went underwater. Yeah, but that's actually it's a good experience as well. And everything I did in my career was somehow connected to the network.
Maybe you can present a little bit scope of some companies which you have done.
Okay,
After
just,
that will be some questions.
Yeah, this is my LinkedIn profile. I started 20 years ago. Time flies. In the early days, I started a company which is a news portal called Delphi. If you are somebody familiar, I don't know. It's a #1 news portal in the Baltic states. Then I moved to New York and I became a photographer because I was too tired of technology. Then I built a company called Microlink, which was one of the largest internet providers for B2B sector. And afterwards, that was Hostex, which is I think one of the leading data center companies. It's a company which was let's say housing servers, housing information. And afterward, it was a company called Selenium. It was a system to help small health and beauty businesses to manage their basically their business, their bookings. And afterwards, after some time, it became a company called Wahanda, which is a London-based company. And we exited this company 2 weeks ago. This is the world's largest marketplace for health beauty services. I co-founded a startup Highway, which is a startup accelerator in 2011. My gosh. We invested in something like 20 companies here in the Baltic states, and I think almost half of them are still there, still alive and doing well. And I guess we have we have a couple of hits on our hands, I believe, but obviously it's too early to tell. And right now I'm building a new business. I started it 1.5 years ago, 1 year, 4 months. It's a world's first recommender system to help consumers discover and purchase skincare products matching their skin. It's never been done before, so we're trying to invent some new stuff. And skincare is a big market. It's $100 billion a year market, and we're trying to scratch the surface of it and change how consumers are purchasing products. Today, it's a mess. It's trial and error, and then I think it's unacceptable in 2015. Yeah, that's what I do.
It's very short history. Actually, when we discussed in the morning during drinking coffee,
I have 500 connections. Yeah,
yeah.
way more than that.
I remember that you have told that you have started businesses together with the internet, yes?
Yeah.
Something like that. Can you explain about bits, internet?
It's an interesting story. It was in 1994, I believe. We had no internet, at least not at home. And actually, I met a friend of mine. He was working at I think Institute of Astronomy or something like that, just across the street. And he kind of showed me what internet is, and it was a web browser, I believe. And it was really fascinating. Then you know that the bits are coming from across the ocean. And I later told my friend, look, we need to do this. It's a really cool thing. Let's develop this in Lithuania. And we were building I think the first company in Lithuania providing internet. And we knew, at that time kind of knew nothing about this, but we learning by doing, and I'm still doing this. I know nothing, but I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I'm trying my hardest.
And you also Asian case. Can you tell me something about Asian?
It's a different world. Yeah, it was kind of not mentioned here in my resume. We were trying to build a marketplace in Southeast Asia, helping people discover and buy bus tickets online, and we failed. And it was a great learning experience. We tried for a bit less than a year, and my understanding of this, the culture plays a huge role, and being European, Eastern European, it's extremely hard, extremely difficult to build something in different culture. And it's not about skills, it's not about money. It's about communication. At the end of the day, how you're communicating to people. Obviously, your potential partners, customers are. Because we're a marketplace, we kind of need to address both sides of the marketplace, like customers and service providers, which are bus companies. And because of these vast cultural differences, I think we fail because we don't understand the challenges in full extent. And so I'm limiting myself doing business, at least in the Western Hemisphere right now. It's too hard.
And you have experience also with United States. What kind of problems? Experience here?
I can't brag about the success in the United States. I built a business, part of the Gudauskas. We built a web hosting business. In our case, that wasn't really hard because for some reason the customer needs and technology and infrastructure like payment processing isn't that vastly different. And let's say the language barrier is not that high. So in our particular case this wasn't a big deal. But I'm sure that in other sectors I believe there are big differences, and so it's case by case basis. It's not easy to tell.
Innovation.
Yeah.
How you understand?
Innovation? You mean what? How do you understand that word?
It's not exam.
Yeah, it's there are too many explanations. Yeah, in my opinion, in my understanding, innovation is then applying knowledge and deriving something useful. In my case, also profitable. By applying knowledge. In my opinion, doesn't necessarily mean something truly groundbreaking, or even it doesn't mean to be invention. If you can, let's say, fuse a couple of things together, existing things, and do something new with it, that's innovation. In my world, in my head.
Can innovation be like killer application?
In some sense, yeah. Innovation, I think, is more kind of a way of thinking, or but yeah, it can be an application.
How you can connect it with entrepreneurship? It's very complicated to tell.
Entrepreneurship. I think that entrepreneurship is kind of 90% you can learn it, but I guess it requires some kind of personal traits to be an entrepreneur. You must be very persistent, but at the same time not stubborn. These are two different things, but they're so close. So sometimes you can't tell one from another. And it's kind of persistence and flexibility in your mind is also kind of not compatible one with the other. But you must be persistent and flexible at the same time, which is kind of crazy thing, right? You need flexibility to explore new opportunities, but you must be persistent. Then you are trying to accomplish something, and not to lose your kind of way of doing things. I think it's still kind of poorly understood set of traits still. And every funny thing is everybody is doing it in a very different way. And there are entrepreneurs of all kinds of entrepreneurs, right? And they're all successful in one way or another, and they're achieving their goals in totally different ways. So that's because I think that's the reason why it's kind of difficult to understand. For example, I would have a hard time explaining how exactly I'm doing things. It's really difficult.
Don't worry, we will not ask. But actually, in your LinkedIn profile, there are your strong sides like startups, entrepreneurship, business strategy, business development, new business development, and you mentioned mostly personal capabilities. What kind of competencies need business people like you?
I think most important thing which I don't actually, that will be harsh at this moment. Our education system in general is killing is curiosity. I believe curiosity is super important. I think it's very hard to stay curious all your life. And then you're in your 30s, most of people are not curious anymore. It's kind of all done, right? And in reality, it's not done it's not done at all. And you can do every day. I can do new stuff, but to do that, you must stay super curious. And I'm reading books interested in stuff like from biotechnology to mechanics to I know everything around business and quantum mechanics, wherever. And it's kind of, these fields I'm not working in, and I won't be working in these fields, and probably never. But all these kind of bits of knowledge are fusing in your head at one point in time, and it sparks some kind of new ideas. And I think it's very important to explore new things, new topics, do some stuff you are not usually doing.
Okay, maybe one of
So
last.
be curious.
Okay, maybe one of last, not questions, but remarks from my side. There is written opportunities Martinas is looking for. joining a non-profit board.
Yeah.
Thank you. You joined think tank. You are co-founder of think tank. We are happy.
I'm trying to help.
And also,
when we have time.
he is looking for skills-based volunteering pro bono consulting. Can you explain us a little bit about your apsėdimas, Egle, kaip yra? Obsessions?
Obsessions are obsessions are kind of extreme word, right? I'm not sure I'm obsessed. Yeah, but that's a good thing. Yeah, I'm trying to help other startups, other people, to find out, to solve issues. That's one of the reasons why we started Startup Highway. It's one of the reasons is to try to make money, but for myself, the more important reasons to try help people, to try help wannabe entrepreneurs, to help them build businesses. And why business? Why business? Why not some kind of NGO, which is also a good thing? I think business is a good thing to change things in the world because it's kind of sustainable way of doing it. You are changing, and at the same time, it's a feedback loop. You are making some progress, grow a business, and change something. And in other forms of changing the world, it's kind of hard. You need to find money to fundraise, and if you are kind of failing to do that, you're toast, right? But yeah, there is no. I think it's a good way to do it.
We agreed with Nicholas to speak together with Martinas and others.
Yes,
Please,
this is
your turn.
True. I have to admit, Martinas, that I was inspired from your
No, thank you.
questions and answer sessions. I especially like the fact that you wanted better internet, and what you did here, you created an internet company for that. I mean, this is amazing, and that reminds me a very useful saying that I always have in my mind, that lazy people find excuses, successful people find solutions. So I think this is exactly what reflects your approach to my view, for sure. Also, I like the thing about curiosity. I was reading the book of Sophia, as his philosophy of the Norwegian author, and he said that people, while they grow up, they stop being children. What does it mean?
Yeah.
They stop being curious.
Exactly.
They stop asking questions.
Yeah.
So they stop being philosophers. I think we have to act in that way for sure, and get inspired, being lifelong learners, and learn the others. And last but not least, to complete, of course, what Dr. Renata said, entrepreneurship also, to me, is something very, is a skill. Is a skill that requires specific principles, requires creativity, requires curiosity, as you said. I think they are both. In order to be creative, you need to be curious, you need to ask why, for sure.
Yeah, curiosity is kind of enabler, I think.
Yes, exactly. You need to be open, as you are. And open, you came here to actually share your knowledge and experiences with us. And you need to be communicative. These are the three essential skills that, as you have indicated, we are not actually being educated on those. And are very, very important ones. And I wish that someone could explore this not through self-learning development, but through a more formal structure of education. And before I close, I would like just to give the floor to others to say that in this group, at least in this meeting, because we are missing some partners from Czech Republic and from Turkey, we have two small SME consultancy companies that are Odobrenon and Cyber that are interested in being more creative and creating businesses better. We have also, apart from think tank, and two business associations. We have one Chamber of Commerce of Santiago de Compostela that Tamara is representing that. And we have also one of the largest business associations in Dublin area or in Ireland. I don't know whether it's the case. DLR SEB. That we have 4 people from that organization, and I'm sure that everyone will be interested to have at least a short discussion and share some of their experiences with you.
Cool. Go ahead, shoot.
So, my name is I'm Clive from Dublin. Just when you were talking there, you were talking about learning by doing. And I was just wondering, in the various businesses that you had founded, if you hit like a skills roadblock, how would you get over that? Was it like, would you try and Google an answer? Would you talk to your business colleagues, or would you get in consultants? I realised there'd be different levels of how much the challenge was. I was just wondering what your experience had been.
And when you are building a business, it's a constant struggle, I think, essentially, right? You're trying your hardest not to die as a business. Yeah, at least first couple of years. It's funny thing. It's always the same every time, and this struggle is about finding a right way to do it. And then you're building something relatively new, right? And it's there is no kind of clear way of doing things. Of course, you can apply some kind of best practices in terms of process, right? But there is always a pretty big element. Then you need to invent something, and I think that's when, let's say, curiosity. That's then kind of some kind of inventor inside of you, small inventors, plays a big role. And then you're building businesses. Very often there are no clear answers how to do it. I'm not talking about opening another franchise restaurant, right? Then you have a blue book, right? And reading this way, the price this way, built on a main street, and it's kind of all done, right? And it's all clear and to the very, very small things, how we look inside the restaurant, right? Probably it will be too boring for me to open another McDonald's. So, I don't know.
Would you have got any type of financial backing? To start a business, you need some kind of capital. Where would you got investments or?
Usually I'm investing my own money, a tiny bit of it, and a lot of brain power, as much as I can get around, right? And obviously you are kind of starting something, and then you are walking around and trying to tell more and more people how cool is that you are building this and this, and you are trying to excite people around you, and some of them kind of, okay, sounds cool, and you are attracting investment. And I'm doing, by the way, for the last company I'm building, like this company Beleza, we raised money 2 months ago, new money, and these investors are contributing money, but that's the only part of the equation. What I'm looking in the investor, right? Also connections, like their social networks, not on Facebook, in real life.
Your opinion about Facebook, please.
Yeah. And I'm trying to, over time, I'm trying to explore or utilize their networks. I'm conversing with them, calling them, look, I need this and this. Do you know someone with that particular profile? And because they already invested, they are doomed, right? They take care of my business. They have no choice at that point. Yeah.
May I ask, when is the point when you start to build a team? Or you have just an idea when you start? You're on your own? Or you already start idea and you work with a few guys or girls around?
Okay. it's a very good question.
It's management by infection.
In some way, yeah. So I realized over time that I never do business alone. One of the reasons is that 4 eyes or 2 brains are way more than 2 times 1 brain. Way more. It could be 100 times, I don't know. Yeah. And another very important thing, I kind of like going on a vacation more often. And then you're going on a vacation, you're switching off your phone, right, for a week, and you have peace of mind. You know that your co-founder or the team around you is taking care of the business.
So
And
you
you-
start with the team actually.
Yes, all the time. Yeah. I don't want to do business alone.
So how do you select who is actually going with you? Based on competencies or so what can they contribute? What are you looking for
Mhm.
these people? Knowledge or money or both? Or
Intuition.
I think it's all of that. Yeah, everything. Money is not that important. It plays a role, but I think it's the least important thing. The qualities in people you are doing business with is you must rely on them. It's a combination of knowledge and passion and let's say some kind of sixth sense, like you feel like you can rely on them, and yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but
yeah, I can imagine.
yeah.
So my next step is building a team. So I cannot turn off the phone.
And no matter how smart you are, you will make mistakes. It's inevitable, and I'm making a lot of mistakes. And I think in terms of mistakes, the only thing which matters is to understand as quickly as possible it is a mistake. It's wrong. You are doing it some wrong way, and you stop it. And then you find the right way, and it happens every day. And I think that's one of the unfortunately hardest but probably inevitable way of learning, because the things we are doing is not taught at any university.
So it's very important, according to my understanding, high speed and good in German bremsen, kaip stabdžiai, angliškai kaip stabdžiai.
Breaks.
Yeah.
It's a saying. I think Facebook did that early in the day. They invented a phrase like "fail fast," and I believe so. Maybe I'm wrong, but the essence is that when you test some kind of concept, some kind of approach, it could be even very small thing in your business, but test it and understand, is it good or it doesn't work, and do it in the shortest period of time and with least amount of money on it. So you kind of test it and detect it's bad, just forget it, go move on. And right now we're testing in this new business. We're learning stuff, and I've never been in the cosmetics field in my life, and I hope so. We'll become some kind of experts over a couple of years, and we need to understand how this works, how consumers behave, what works, what doesn't. And to be honest, we are not copying someone because there is no one to copy. And what brings you to invest, to invent stuff, and to test stuff, it's working or not. And there is no book about that.
We regularly hear like that America has a much better business environment than Europe, and having worked in both both continents, what sort of things that they have in their environment in America do you think we could bring back to Europe to make it more?
Okay, I can't speak about whole Europe, right? Because I never did business in Greece, right? Yeah, in Ireland, yeah. But okay, I can speak, let's say, about Eastern Europe, right? One of the things is openness, like about openly sharing knowledge, and I think we're kind of getting better at this, but we're not there yet. And another thing is, like, I think in America we have an amazing fusion between academics and business, and a professor can teach at his class at the university and also run a business, right? And so they are somehow what they are teaching is kind of coming from application, from like tested in real life, and they're kind of pushing each other, like they're improving their teaching because they have some kind of practice, and they're improving their business because they are kind of cooking up, thinking something up, or researching at the academics level, and it's very kind of integrated way. And for example, in Eastern Europe, I think these are kind of two separate worlds, not really talking to each other.
What I think would be interesting, question to me, but possibly to others also, is how create new ideas, not for actually exploiting, I mean, coming from the leisure to having this input.com for beauty products or something else.
Yeah.
But how, when you are running an existing business, you create new things, develop that business and develop new products and new services. Do you have a team that you meet and you have some brainstorming sessions? Does someone thinks and then he proceeds from your team towards that, and then you're learning to test it? Or how you work? How you create new ideas of your current businesses?
One of those I just mentioned, curiosity. If you are interested in a ton of other stuff, totally unrelated to your business, then from time to time, it's hard to predict, unfortunately. It's kind of, you're getting sparks in your brain, kind of, you're reading a book totally unrelated to your business, and oh my gosh, this paragraph makes sense, then applied to my business, right? But the book, for example, a book, right, is totally unrelated. And it's kind of cross-pollination of ideas. And another, I think, very good way to invent stuff is essentially listen to your customer. And I think listening is kind of, it's really hard. It's tough to listen, or then you hear their issues or challenges from coming from customers. You need to get to the root of these issues or challenges, and then you're trying to solve these issues. So basically, if you look at the world, right, business is about solving somebody else's issues. If I'm solving your problem, right, most probably you will feel validated, right, in some way or another. And at that point, most probably you will be ready to pay me a euro or two, right, because I'm bringing some value to you. So the thing is, you need to figure out a way and to understand the issue, and that's a big challenge, by the way, I think. And after that, step 2, to figure out a way how to solve your issue. So listen to your customer, and this is an amazing source of inspiration. And I believe many businesses are just deaf, like, and blind.
But I understand that too. One thing is to know what the needs and the challenges of your clients, but how can you think of solutions to address those challenges? Because this is the next step, and that deals with creativity and innovation. So how are you doing that? I mean, are you working on your own? You're working with some other members of your team?
Okay. In my life, solutions always was easy part. The hard part is to get to the root of the issue. And it's always not obvious. I can tell you a very small story. 20 years ago, when we were building a company providing internet, and we had a couple of salesmen, and the internet connectivity was very hard to sell. Why? Because nobody needed it. And okay, I told my couple of colleagues, okay, I wanted to go with you to customers when you are visiting them and selling them the internet. And remember, that was a telephone and fax machine only. No internet, no email, nothing. It's like, yeah, prehistoric times, right? And one meeting was kind of eye-opening for me. We're visiting a CEO of one kind of, I believe that was a car dealership, right? Importing cars and selling cars in Lithuania. And we were visiting that guy, and we were kind of pitching him the internet. And let's say, why do you need internet at that time? Email is cheaper than fax, kind of. Time is, it was a really big difference, because email costs nothing and fax costs you €2 a page, right? Crazy times. And you spend thousands of euros on fax only a month. And then you are kind of pitching him, look, email is free, you will save on fax, it's kind of fast and in the instant. And he tells me, you know, maybe you're right. But he gets to his drawer, opens his drawer, and gets me a bunch of business cards. Not his, but from his business partners. And puts all these business cards on a table. And he tells me, Martinas, do you see a single email on any business cards? And guess what, right? Nobody had an email. Phone, fax, address, first name, last name, company name. Okay, I have an email, but it's bullshit. I can't email you, right? You don't have an email. Okay, and that got me thinking. So, internet was a hard sell, nobody need that. So what to do, right? And we're not profitable yet, we need to grow somehow. And cool, nobody needs internet. Can you imagine it? We are big believers in the internet, but nobody needs that. And okay, but because the conversation was somehow, the fax was mentioned in here. Okay, what about we are using internet to send fax, right? And in partnership with some US company, we built a service which was called, I can't remember how it's called, but the essence is you are opening your computer, your Word document, file, print, in that window you are punching your telephone number and you kind of print it. But you're actually not printing it. It goes over the internet and to that country, for example in Germany, and we send fax from Germany to Germany, but you are in Lithuania. So instead of €2, you are paying us 20 cents. And it was a huge sell. So we stopped selling them internet. We then start selling cheap fax service over the internet. That's it. So this is the illustration. You are listening to the problem. The faxes are expensive. I don't need your internet. So what we can do about it? And actually, to build that service, it took us pretty fast, a couple of months. That's it. And nobody needs fax today. Funny thing.
If I may, one more. Actually, many years ago, you have graduated information management. You graduated public relations.
Thank you.
International communication. Yes.
Yeah.
And after that, you learned nothing. Yeah. Formal education.
okay, I never been.
Because you are doing quite different things which you have
Yeah.
learned.
I think these like information management, like it's a pretty generic thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think it's helpful because you are still information management is science about what? About nothing? About information?
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, and I'm still doing nothing. I'm just I'm trying to figure out how to fix service problems. And every time I'm doing it in some different way. And obviously every time you're dealing with information.
You are trying to manage complexity, which happens using
Yeah,
information.
in some sense, yeah, because you are trying to get to the root of a problem.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, which is not always very obvious.
Mhm. And one more, Lithuanian educational system is in deep crisis. I'm a member of.
I think it's everywhere.
I understand, but I'm a member of Lithuanian higher education board. If we will invite you, just like here, what you can advise to rectors of Lithuanian universities, to ministers, to vice ministers, what to do with the Lithuanian educational system, what not to do, maybe what not to do.
I don't know what they're doing wrong, so I'm a really bad advisor on this one. But I guess
But you are
That-
meeting people, graduated universities, and you cannot do anything with them.
yeah, I think that cross-pollination between the people who are applying knowledge or science and people who are kind of creating this new theories, right? You need like guys talk to each other, and today I think everybody is living in their own island and no transport in between. Maybe telegram sometimes. Well, that's about it. So it's communication, I think, and get more people from the actual people who are actually applying the knowledge to teach students. Maybe
15 years ago,
like in California, right?
15 years ago, I have made presentation somewhere in Hungary about future of education, and it was one sentence: future education is not universities, learner going through educational networks. What you are thinking about such approach?
Learner going through educational networks.
Huh?
I don't know. It's hard to grasp, actually. I don't know.
Me too.
I don't have an opinion at this moment. Sorry.
No, it's okay. You don't necessarily to have opinion.
That reminds me another saying of Oscar Wilde. I like Oscar Wilde. I read a lot the Irish author, and he said that education is a malleable thing, but is well remembered from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. So that's why you need to be connected and make sure that you're regulating your own learning. Interesting.
Also, there is one more expression which will be maybe last from my side. There is such an expression like dark side of competences. If you are innovative, you are not very stable, not very orderly man, something like that. I'm speaking not about you. I don't know if you are only innovative.
It's always
But
something.
for example, what can you tell us about your dark sides?
What dark sides?
Nothing, because it's too dark.
Too dark, yeah.
It's good.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Yeah. So I think over time, obviously, you're learning about your own weaknesses. Something. Sometimes it's kind of, for me, it's hard to focus on something for a long time, and I know that I can't do the same thing like for years. I get bored, honestly, and
Is it weakness?
it, sometimes, yeah, because you're kind of you get distracted, and sometimes it's kind of you need to stay focused, right? And there is always something new and exciting for me is around. I want to try things. I want to learn new things, and yeah, there are only 24 hours a day, and I need to sleep a little bit, and yeah, stuff like this. So not to get distracted is important, but I know how to solve it. Yeah.
There are many lectures or trainings related to leadership. What do you think about leadership?
I think it's important to, in terms of leadership, I think it's important to try from very hands-on approach what your company is doing, even at very low level, right? Because in that way you are what your business is about, and especially in the early days you are talking to your customer like in person, like I told you that funny story from 20 years ago, and you kind of realizing that stuff only then you are in person getting in touch with them, and not sitting in some kind of fancy room and talking to board members. It doesn't work. And that because sometimes information is get lost in between, and obviously you can't do every day, because you can't talk every day to your customer, but especially in the early days I think it's a must. Yeah, and do it I think in the longer term, just from time to time. And when I worked at the kind of pretty large company, we got a policy for managers, 1 day a quarter, like not much. Go to a help desk, basically where people are picking up the telephone, then they are listening to customer complaints, the issues, there are customers calling into the company, and even if you're let's say a big bank, right? And I believe that even CEO must go to that call center and pick up the phone once in a while, and to get just sense of reality, who they are dealing with, and then you are just talking to your 7 employees, right? Directors. It's easy to lose the sense of reality.
How do you manage this nowadays in your companies?
Say it again.
How do you manage this help desk with clients with your companies nowadays?
Right now, that news company is so small, we don't have a help desk. We just started a year ago, essentially, and but when you grow, you are obviously getting more emails, more phone calls, etc. So you're establishing some kind of unit, and establishing a process, and how these calls, emails, complaints are kind of get answered in a timely manner. Not tomorrow, better in an hour or so. So it's pretty basic. It's field well understood with best practices and software and etc. So it's no magic in there.
I don't know, and maybe one of last questions, but Nicholas needs to help me. What do you think about our project, about which you don't know anything in general?
Well, that is related to one question that I was actually willing to ask Martinas, and that was we had a discussion and you recommended to me one Web 2.0 tool, and that is Slack.
Yeah.
And I was very pleased to see that we have already considered Slack in our tools.
You have considered it.
We have already included that. We have already included that.
But you are using inside of your organization?
Well, it's only me and one more person that works in the organization.
Okay.
So
And how big is your organization?
it's very small. It's a small training consultancy company. So
It's like 5 people?
no, even less. It's
Even
just-
3 people?
No,
Oh, okay.
but we use it in another committee that I am as an expert
Okay.
there.
Okay.
But that's external to the
Oh,
organization.
okay. Okay.
But nevertheless, what I'd like to highlight is first of all that regarding our name, the suggestion that comes from me is to have it entrepreneur4.eu, looking the future, looking something different. That's very promising, possibly to examine the next phase of our project because it is reaching the end of it. However, what is my question is, you have already indicated one Web 2.0 tool. Can you suggest 2 other Web 2.0 tools and just to see whether we have included them or if not, to consider to including them in our database?
You wanna me name a couple of tools, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're using for some time a tool called Asana.
Yes, for the tax management.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah,
Kind of
very good.
quite good piece of software. Slack, Asana. Nothing comes to my head at this moment. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll find out, but just can't do it at the moment.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm still pleased to see that we have considered Asana in our tool, so I think we have been doing a quite good and successful job in order to consider some tools that are used by entrepreneurs in order to be used by other entrepreneurs that are not that familiar with. Okay.
Google Apps is pretty good. Google Apps like for collaborative document editing.
You're doing better and better job. Thank you for that also. The more you continue, the more you prove that our project has very good and high added value. Thank you for that.
Maybe tomorrow he will call you.
Yes. For another tool. Okay, it's fine. Exactly.
Okay, please.
Can I ask something? It has to with the doctor asked before. You said that all this period, as you saw, you have done many things. You start up too many businesses, if I can say.
A couple of things, yeah.
Besides of the ambition that you said that you are getting poor and things like that, do you think that up to now you didn't have stuck in a business because still you are looking the biggest plan, your biggest future dream, I don't know, the big success? This is a reason that you are changing, you are starting up with a business, then another one thing goes on like that. Still you are looking the big one, I don't know.
Or you are
You understand me?
just aventurist. Huh?
It could be both. I don't have a personal goal to have all the world's money, right? And I have enough money
Because I think money is important also.
Yeah, but at one point money just becomes a number on a screen, right? In your bank account, and it's at some point it's when you have kind of essentially enough of it, right? So your life it doesn't get any better. Do I need a 5-story house? I don't need that, right? And there is no use for it, at least for me personally. What I'm trying to figure out and getting my personal satisfaction, right? Then I build something useful, and by useful I mean then the thing I just built, right? I'm about to build. Some people are using it, right? And then I hear, oh, this is really cool, right? It's I like it, or it's useful, or it solves my problem, and it feels good. That's it.
Martinez, how do you not become emotionally attached to each company that you set up? You've set up about 10 companies and moved on every couple of years. Have you actually been able to let them go?
Of course it is, yeah, because it's your baby. You are kind of
Sentimental.
you are growing from from day zero, right? From the inception. Yeah, there is always emotional component, right? But I think it's this kind of circle of life, right? You are building something, and then you need to let it go, and that's probably my kind of dark side, right? I'm impatient. At one point, I'll be impatient to start something new, because it's kind of new, is unexplored, untried, never done before, and exciting, right? And this is kind of established, profitable, and in some sense boring. So it's circle of life, yeah.
What about family business?
Family business?
Family is not business.
That's lasts for decades, for centuries maybe.
I think you shouldn't. I believe you don't need to do. It's a bad thing to do a family business, because then you're kind of, if your significant other, or your spouse, right, or your dad or your sister working in the same business, it's a big risk.
The heritage is based on that, passing on something
Uh,
to future generations.
But then in that case, I think it's for certain types of people. For myself, I'm getting bored, right? But if you like it, all till the end of your days, right? That's perfect.
If you have money, yes, why not?
Say it again.
If you like it and if you have money.
Yeah, sure. I think there are types of people who will never get bored of what they do, right? And I think then you need to build this like a family business, right? Like to pass this business on to children, grandchildren, etc. But sometimes even children don't want to do what your parents did. So what to do then? I think there is no right answer. It's like, apples, oranges, right? You like apples, I like oranges. Are you wrong? I'm wrong. Nobody is wrong. We just like different things. The same is here.
So, boss, tell me what we need to do next.
No, I mean, I just have one last question, because I don't have the chance to know that. I don't meet that often with people that have managed to raise some funding from venture capitals or from business angels. And how do you find funders for your own idea?
By talking to people.
Just
talking, yeah.
Talking to people that might know someone else that might suggest you to.
Essentially, yes. Sometimes you're kind of reaching out directly to them and, hey, my name is blah blah blah, right? And I have this idea. I want to talk to you. Okay, let's talk. And sometimes you are talking to people and you're hearing, look, Martinas, I know the guy who could be interested in what you're doing, right? Okay. Just drop me an email, right? And there are no rules.
Do you have something like a social media network, possibly LinkedIn or something else, like a news group that you would like to suggest to us if we're looking for some funding for our own ideas?
Funny thing is that, I don't know, probably 95% of time, or maybe even 100% of time, people are parting with their money in a very difficult way, right? It's a hard thing to do, right? To get something out of your pocket and hand this to you, right? And that brings you to a kind of interesting observation, at least from my part. People investing in other people who they kind of essentially trust or like, and yeah, so it's always the big element of that human connection. And idea is one thing, and sometimes even people are investing just because we like other people, and no matter what we do, they know they are smart enough, they are good enough to figure out how to do it. But it's not always this way. But I think that human connections always plays a role.
Were you part of any, in the local enterprise office, we run networks, so we would have, it's a staff network, and people join €100 for the year, you can come along for the first two or three sessions, see what they think, but it's basically, I thought all startup businesses that have ideas, all startup or even existing, that they're making the first year, and they need to come to month. And every month you have a speaker, so if you get your business online, blogging about your business, you have a speaker coming in. So like that, it's a great network community for people, for future entrepreneurs to kind of get a network with each other. So you'd have somebody involved in marketing, you'd have somebody involved in photography, but other people involved in the website. Were you part of anything before you started any businesses?
Then I started my first business, obviously. No. And over time you are kind of getting more contacts, you are connected to more people, and it's easy over time.
Because it's about network, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all about network, and but yeah, essentially you're right, and I think then you are trying to help entrepreneurs. The potential investors is very important part of the equation. To get them, just get together, into one room, and hand everybody a glass of wine. It's in sense it's easy as that, because after some time, in 10 minutes, they are starting to talk to each other.